Yeah, we on a sister shit. Come with us, we on a sister shit. Yeah, we on a sister shit. Roll with us, we on a sister shit. Sister shit, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Talk about sister shit, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sister shit, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sister shit, we got it. Come on, let's talk about it. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with you. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with you. Substance, sis, you know we on a mission, no games. Help each other get over some things. Real strength, bring change. Cause we've been through the rain. Now it's time to shine like wings. Let's talk about life skills. We building up our quality to right wills. We rolling out of poverty, love hills. So we become the prodigy of how a sistership could be a really hot commodity. Stand together, we unite and hold hands. Support each other's dreams and our plans, doing everything we can. Just to show we understand the power of a friendship fam. Live life on purpose. Together we learn it. Yeah, let's talk. We don't wanna see you hurt, and we here for each other. No matter the color, networking. That's for sure and for certain. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us, we on a sister ship. Yeah, we on a sister ship. Roll with us, we on a sister ship. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with ya. Sister ship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Sister ship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. Talk about sister ship, we got it. Now come on, let's talk about it. That's that sistership challenge, y'all.
Yeah. The sistership today. What's up, ladies?
Hello.
Oh my God, it's been a crazy week. But God is so good. God is so good. We are back. We had such a huge response on our body shaming episode a few weeks back
That we decided to do a part
two.
two.
And I'm so excited to do so. I am going to be demure today and body shaming. But however, you know I can get with you when it's time to get with you. Right. This is your girl Tiffany Rowe.info, bringing you all the positive tea, and we got our sistership, and we're going to start at the other end. My other Tiff.
And this is Tiffany Cole Bling, and I'm going to start with Miss Lady K. Go ahead.
This is Kalima, a.k.a. Miss Lady K. And this lovely young lady.
I'm Sherry.
We got Sherry. We got a full house today. We switched it up a little bit. I wanted to sit on the end today. So,
Sherry is Lady Wisdom. She don't know, but I named her Lady Wisdom.
Yes.
When she brings it, she brings it. She brings it. So today is a high show.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I mean, we talked about shaming before and what that means. Making someone feel inferior or complex about their body. Now, it's not just about, you know, a lot of times you think, oh, it's if you're wearing this and it's too tight for you and things are hanging over, that's the body shaming. Mm-hmm. I have a daughter that's a size 0 who gets it all the time, how thin she is, does all her food go to her feet. And she's growing up and she's, you know, there's these other reasons of having complexes and mindsets about what's happening with your body and how people are assuming that they can just talk about you just for whatever reason. I would like to, first of all, give a major shout out to Lizzo. If I don't know if you know, she is on the Vogue cover.
Yes, she is.
And
Congratulations.
This is the first plus size model on the cover to ever get on the cover. So, Anna, I'm very proud of you because you finally went there. Andre Leon Talley used to always try to push that envelope when he used to work for Vogue, and she just, you know, was always, no, it has to be couture, and couture looks like this, and couture looks, we want to see your flesh, like your bones and things like that in order to be on the cover. So Lizzo, you breaking huge boundaries.
Nice.
Now that being said, and also a brown woman, and they chose. I mean, they chose for it to be a brown woman. As a woman growing up, and let's say if you was full, how would that have affected you as a young girl? What do you think? If you would have been able to see a Vogue.
From some young ladies, it inspired them.
I would think so.
Right.
I mean, you know, because when, especially growing up, we always saw Twiggy, and that was a model's name. Her name was Twiggy. And they were very either white or very, very, very light. So as your chocolate sisters, how do you feel when you're seeing something that's representing you that's now on a cover of such a major magazine? How would you feel?
To me, it feels amazing because, like you said, growing up, I didn't see that. So I always thought I had to be less than a size 9 because I was always a size 9, not knowing that at that size, that was a nice size. But I wasn't complete with myself because I saw everyone thin and, like you said, lighter than me, whiter than me. I didn't see me. So I was like, okay, I didn't even, want to accept myself.
And Adele as well. Adele is like the singer Adele.
Right, and she lost a lot of weight too.
She lost a lot. She lost a
lot of weight.
But
And she talks about
she looks
that.
great.
Yeah, she talks about that. And I know recently we did a show about what was it?
Bariatric surgery.
yes.
And, yeah, we did that, about 2 weeks ago?
Okay.
Yep.
And with that being said, I mean, when you're growing up and you're seeing this, I think it's just an amazing thing. I'm really excited about that. Also, how about when we're out in the streets and guys are just whistling at us? How does that, like, and they want to speak of a body part. Like, oh, look at that fat ass, or what? Can I say that on Sunday?
I felt like a piece of meat.
Well, you
okay?
felt like a piece of meat.
I did. And then when I was younger too, like when I was like 16, 15, I had a nice little shape. And every time somebody looked at me, my mother would be like, jailbait. She would let them know she was underage. Do not look at my daughter like that.
But when you were younger, you kind of, and you were getting into the boys, you kind of thought it was kind of cute.
Not for me.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
when
sometimes,
they whistle at you,
depending.
hey, mommy.
Right.
Whatever, depending on what they said.
what they
Right.
said.
But as you got older, it was like, oh, come on, really? Is that how you're going to approach me? Because your morals and your values
You're
and your
more confident
principles
now.
were different.
Right.
So if somebody whistles at me now on the street, I'm like, ugh, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
You got to bring it to me some other kind of way, other than
Exactly.
the
Can
way
you
you
be a
bring it to
gentleman?
me when you were younger. Yeah.
Right.
And if you're still whistling at me at 45, 50, we got issues because there's other ways to approach women.
Absolutely.
Well, we're living in a different time in general, just in general. So when people talk about body shaming, a lot of it goes to the plus size. So being a plus size woman, full figure, BBW, whatever you want to call it, I'm confident in who I am. I had to learn to love me from the inside out. But body shaming doesn't just go there. Right. Body shaming actually starts with a form of self-hatred. And when you look in the mirror at yourself and you start picking yourself apart. So we already pick out our own flaws and we already put ourselves down in the most graphic way, hurtful way that we can. We beat ourselves up worse than anybody. But because it started at home, that's what makes it so much harsh. When we're out in the street and someone says it, it affects us. Right. So does it only happen to plus size? Absolutely not. Like you said, your daughter is slim. So you got she's beautiful in who she is, but she's uncomfortable because somebody is uncomfortable in what they see in her. Or they choose to point out and deflect shine off of them and throw it onto her so somebody doesn't see a flaw that they carrying. They talk about your eyes. People with glasses. Remember when you grew up, they used to call you 4 eyes? Right? So then you talk about your lips. Oh, you got people that are paying for big lips. But they put down beautiful women that had them. Yes. Right.
Calling them soup coolers.
Now they pay for it. They talk about your ears. They talk about your hair. At my age, I got more gray hair, but I have decided to embrace my gray hair. I decided that it's no more. I'm not going to keep covering up. I'm going to be who I am. Does it define me? Does it make me older? It depends on your perception of what you find old. I'm not old. but I was getting gray hair as a teenager. And at some point, I was losing my hair because I kept covering it up with color.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I had to decide to embrace it. Can everybody embrace it? No. When people see my hair, oh, your hair's so beautiful, your hair's so beautiful, I love your color, I love your color. But I just seen you put some color in your hair. Because they personally can't hold it. So usually when body shaming comes into effect, they talk about everything, your feet, your legs.
Oh,
How about the
if
people?
remember, so if you were over a size 9, you had big feet.
Right.
And in
The
school, I
boots.
remember that they were boots. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
don't come in. What size? And everybody would hide. You know, if you had a big feet, you would hide your feet because they talked about it in school.
You flat-chested, you got no
Flat-
butt.
I had no butt.
You also have the males that are actually body shamed. You know, some of them get, I know a lot of, don't know that you got a lot of guys that work out. Even those that work out, male and female, they work out. But if you look at it predominantly when somebody thinks of a male working out, they always think of the upper part.
Legs, feet.
But if they don't take care of their legs
Can't
don't
even
fit.
hold it.
Right.
So then when you look at TV and you see these celebrities or reality show stars get on there and they get butt enhancement, breast augmentation. When they get their butts done, they never realize that you can tell it's fake.
The hips.
Right.
Because their legs and their hips
Don't match.
don't match.
Right.
See, if I got my butt done, it would match.
Right.
You gonna make sure that I will make sure it lines with
But
it.
I
go to the right
already got the
person.
thigh.
Okay.
Right.
I just never had the butt to go with the
booty.
thighs. So if I got the butt, people would just say,
Oh, that's hers.
Right.
"She been eating some grits."
Cheese. Hello.
Cheese.
Because I definitely went. I had a flat booty, a flat chest.
Were you teased about that?
I was always teased about.
Really?
I was always teased about. But my legs were big. Always, like I said, the party's from left to right. You want to look at something, the hips are there, but everything else is like, where did it go? And I was a little girl being called legs. Oh, there go legs.
Legs.
And when you're a little, when you're young, it's for me it was embarrassing. It felt like I didn't wear shorts. I never wore shorts as a
Okay.
kid,
Right.
because I always felt this thing
About your legs.
about my legs being so big. And, I ended up having to find, literally, my friends all had these legs and no butt. Like, I had to find my tribe of people. So that when I'm walking and I'm with my people, I'm like, yeah, we all look the same. Because I have to say, it really felt majorly uncomfortable.
Right.
But I will say what you were saying with the body shaming, picking yourself apart. I hear young girls talking about my nose is too big. Somebody said
Told
that to them.
Absolutely.
Right.
Somebody said that.
And you're right. They do that because when I was younger, people used to say, "Oh, you got a big head," and yeah, all the time. And they would do it to me all the time. And then I would go back to the mirror and go, damn, maybe I do have a big head. And you start to
Right.
Pick yourself apart at that point.
So now when they do it, it's like, okay, whatever. But I've grown to know you know what? That's probably why I can do what I do and all the multi things that I do, because I got this big head that has all this stuff in it that can create stuff. So you have to turn it around and be comfortable in your skin. So
Right.
when people do it, I'm like, okay, that's fine, But people need to be conscious that what they say to people has a reaction
Right.
for them.
Every
And so
action has a
sometimes,
reaction.
as I'm older, I try to make sure that I don't do that to people, because I know how it was done to me, and I would look in the mirror and go, damn, maybe it is. And sometimes I thought my friends were prettier than me. Although everybody said, oh, you're so pretty, I thought my friends were prettier than me.
Wow.
What got you?
I thought I was
what
pretty.
got
They were
you
prettier than me.
past feeling this way? I mean, when you're constantly hearing something or thinking something, or someone might give you one little seed of doubt within yourself, in your physicality, and it starts to fester something within your spirit, within your soul. How did you get to a point where that wasn't an issue, or you embraced it in a way of being positive, like you said? Like Genesis always, she somebody must have said something to her when she was little. Because if she's in the room and she'll walk by, I'm like, Jen, move out the way. I can't see the TV. Oh, because my head's in the way. And I have never.
Somebody said something.
Somebody said something to her.
Somebody said something.
Right.
Absolutely,
So how did
somebody
you
said
get,
something.
How did you get past some of those things?
It takes a while, and I think age, for one.
Okay.
Out of high school.
You know, your parents, how
Okay.
you were raised, and just having that self-confidence within yourself. And go ahead, Sherry, because I know you have something there. I mean, really, it did. It did take a while for me to do that, but for a while, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I think for some people, it's still a part of them, period. When I was growing up, and I still don't look at myself the same way people see me, right? But the one thing that, you know, I had to make sure is I want my kids to know that they were smart. My kids are extremely intelligent, but did I need to tell them that? No, but did I? I did.
Absolutely.
I have good-looking kids. My girls are gorgeous. My son is handsome. But I make sure that they know it. So, and no matter how many times I could tell them how beautiful they are or how smart they are, sometimes what's coming in from the outside is what actually affects them.
Yes.
Like you
It's
said.
so much more,
Yes.
right? The world.
So again, people deflect. To this very day, people deflect their disappointment and something about them, take the shine off of them, and they put it on to someone else.
Mama sees in the chat room, and she said, with age comes the wisdom to recognize where body shaming comments come from. And I believe that is
And that
true.
comes
as
from
well.
somebody, but that also comes from somebody else's low self-esteem,
Right.
And
or their
also-
lack of confidence,
Right.
or what somebody did to them.
and you're not alone. Like, that's the
Right.
big thing about, you know, us having this conversation. If you've ever experienced it, you're not alone. And there are ways to overcome body shaming. One of them is don't comment on weight.
Right.
You know, if someone, you know, sometimes you think you see someone and they've lost weight. And unless they brought you into their personal weight loss journey with them, you don't even have to comment on that.
Oh, you can tell them they look good or
You look
they're beautiful
beautiful.
and keep moving.
You know, and if they want to share, oh, I lost 15 pounds, let that be the circumstance.
Right.
Or if they say, oh, I gained 5, thank you so much, because I was feeling, let them be the author of that
it.
conversation. But we tend to do that. Another thing is, if you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't say nothing at all.
don't say anything at all.
Keep it quiet.
You have, I don't want to say too much of the business, but the karma, let's just say that. I saw that on
Yeah.
somebody something outside. So it is so real. Karma is so real. So when
It
you're going
is.
out there and you're bringing this negative information and negative energy to someone,
Comes right
and you
back.
got something to say, guess what? It will come back
Right back.
tenfold.
Right.
You know, you'll talk about such and such and such and such. Next thing you know, you got kids with such and such and such and such.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. One of the other things is every Sunday be here. And surround yourself with body positive people.
The sistership. Come with us. We on a sistership. Go with us. We on a sistership. But then we got that sistership challenge going on where we're trying to get everyone to, you know, sing the song, post it up.
Post
you know,
it up, post
let's do
it
that sistership.
But Tiffany, you're saying some key things. You're just projecting healthy, and a lot of people don't realize it, but they're toxic. You know, they think they're doing you a favor. They're really not. But like you said, it comes
Right.
from a place where they feel insecure about themselves in order to project that on someone else, and it's like that's none of your business. Like you said, you should learn to. At a certain point, because why would you project, especially with a child, because everything starts at a young age. Like she said, you tell your children that they're beautiful, that's great, because they need to constantly hear that, because at some point as they're going out there, say if they're facing something, they can remember, my mommy told me I was beautiful, my mommy told me I was smart, and they would keep that, because what you told her, it stays in their head. It stays in their head. It comes back. So it's like we think we're talking to them, they're not listening. They are, but you know, you're just hoping one day that they will just finally see it for themselves and accept themselves, because that's what it's all about. It's about accepting yourself.
And the thing is, too, being around positive people seems like of course. I mean, am I not supposed to? It's like common sense. But it's harder than you think.
Yes, it is. It's a rarity.
It is a rarity to find caring people. We don't need to have the same mind.
Right.
Correct.
I'm not even about the like mind so much, but like caring,
Right.
like honor, you know, and that is not easy. So you have to take time in allowing people into your cipher, in your circle, in your
inner
energy.
circle,
Oh, Lord, did I learn
Right.
that? I learned that really well doing the sister. Well, let's doing the ladies' room. I learned that really well, but we ain't gonna go there. We're
No,
gonna
we
continue
don't.
on.
You know what? Whenever.
Okay. You know.
Your core group of people that you choose to have in your life, it could be a tool or a weapon.
Right.
They could be a tool for you to help you protect and fix and
Or they could-
and reinforce the goodness that you need and the positivity around you. Or they could be a weapon to come in to destroy you. And they usually get in to destroy you because, like the serpent, he was cunning. So he got in close. He actually, if you think about what was said, even in the Bible, it said that the serpent was cunning.
Right.
If you read the next couple of verses, just the verses, he didn't say anything that wasn't said. He changed the way he said it, so it made her second guess
Right.
what was said. Because it was flat out, but it was second guessed. He said,
Don't we always do that though?
but that's the problem. So he made her second guess what was said to her.
Right.
And that's where the change came in, because in that process, it's like, well, you're not going to tell me what to do kind of thing.
Right.
Yes.
And unfortunately,
You ain't the boss of me.
Right. But also too is how he projected it to her. How
right, he gave it to her. He didn't, and he did it. So he did it like, yeah, why would he tell you that?
Right.
Right, you know, like, and so unfortunately, we grow up in that. So, a lot of stuff that we say we get from childhood, but we don't never realize that those adults that might be affecting us are already affected.
Yeah.
So they're infected with low self-esteem.
They already got it.
They can't give you what they don't have.
Absolutely.
So how can I give you a reinforcement of how beautiful you are, or give you positive energy around you when I don't have it to give to you?
Right.
And unfortunately, that's what is going on now.
We have to find positive mentors.
And bring people around us. I'm glad you said that, because I was listening to Kwanzaa Mama. She has a show here on Genesis Radio.
Yes,
And
she
at
is
the end of
awesome.
her show, she said sometimes the adults, the older people, you have to beware of them too, because they have hidden agendas. And sometimes everything that they say to you is not always correct.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And you have to pay attention to everybody. So just because they're 55 don't mean they correct.
No.
Right.
You know,
Most
so-
people, most, and you said it, you hit the what is it, the nail on the head. A lot of times not really coming from a bad place in their mind.
Right.
What they was taught.
Right.
That's what they was taught.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, I think you need to push away from the table. You need to tell such and such that you need to push back from the table.
Right.
And things like that. That old mentality of how to raise.
Right.
And then they bring that energy into you, and then you think you're doing a bad job.
Right.
Because we're looking at, and some of us, and I have to say for myself, and I know even, let's say, my mom, that she had some challenges. So raising me, it was like, okay, you gotta wear this and do this and do that, and when you got your period, you gotta do this and do that, with your body. Oh, you're getting fuller right here. Like, I heard if I gained a few pounds, I used to hear about it.
Wow.
So it's but again, I don't think she meant to hurt
No, that's
me.
probably what she was taught, and so she was basically giving you an ideal of, well, I noticed because, if you ever said to her, why do you say that to me? She probably would have said, well, that's what my mother said to me. Or my sister said that to me.
Right.
And in that's where we are at a point where the way we were raised, we had no control over it. But the way we raise ours now, it makes a difference.
Right.
I have grandchildren, and when I look at my grandchildren, I have all of my grandchildren are gorgeous. And I am biased because they're my grandbabies.
That's right.
But I have a 3-year-old granddaughter that will tell you her hair, she doesn't like her hair. She has soft, curly hair. It's like a sandy brown. But she'll tell you, Mommy, put a bun up. I don't like my hair like this. It's the worst. So the question becomes, where did you hear that? Because you're not hearing it from us, because that's how our hair is. You take my hair out, I wash my hair the same way we wash her hair, and my daughter's hair, and then you have the curls. They just drop. So
What did she say?
she's hearing it about how she hates her hair like that. It's a mess.
She's only 3.
What am I going to do with this?
Starts at a young age.
And so I say to her, you're beautiful. And so the one thing me and my daughter both was in the same mindset. We always constantly tell her how beautiful she is and how beautiful her hair is.
Question: what is the demographic of her classes or the people
She-
that she's around?
Well, first she's 3. So
Okay.
she's extremely intelligent. She's in pre-K. But I don't believe that is where she gets it from. I believe that it's other folks that she may be around. So my daughter and her father are not together.
Okay.
So we don't know who she visits
contact.
there.
Yeah, okay.
And then when she's with us, we know what we do because her hair is done every day. We wash it, we keep it up, and we maintain it. Her hair was growing. There was a point where her hair wasn't growing, no big deal. But the way my children's hair, my grandchildren's hair grows, it grows. So it's a part of also, I can reinforce something. It's like a dentist telling you as a parent and the kid has to go to 2 houses. Well, a child cannot have gummies and fruit snacks because they decay in their teeth.
And then they go to the other
Then they go to the other house.
Right.
And they're the weekend parent and they're the fun parent.
Oh yeah.
So
I know that very well.
you can't tell them what they can do in their home, but you could try to wish that they love that child enough to do what's best for the child.
Right.
Don't do it to spite me. So a lot of times we're dealing with that as well. We're dealing with 2 different households, 2 different raises, 2 different upbringings, and they're doing one thing there, and then you're doing another thing here.
Right.
So my suggestion for most people is to reinforce what's going on with your kids. You ever see the movie The Help?
Yes.
So people think it's only about color. I mean, like dark skin black people are only people that get it. Well, I'm light bright, damn near white is what I've been told all my life. And so I get it too. So at one point I really had an issue with how light I was.
Me too.
But I learned to embrace my skin because it's what I'm in. I don't get to change that. No matter how much you want to talk about it, no matter what you want to say to me,
You can't change it.
I am who I am. When I wake up in the morning, I have to see her in that mirror. And so what I had to learn to do is learn to accept me for who I am. I wasn't always a plus size, but I also had to learn to embrace that because your body, people don't realize that your body will release when it's ready. It sounds weird, but it's like in your mind, you're waiting for that thing to just click.
Right.
To get you to that place where exercise is a habit. It takes weeks to get you into that habit. But it's all that stuff that's in the between. It's that in-between stuff. There's something got to click here for it to work. It's the same thing with confidence and self-esteem. That all comes from the inside. It has to come from the inside. And the one thing that we have been taught and are being taught is that loving ourselves is selfish. It is actually selfless.
Young women are taught that. More than any, I
But you're
mean,
being selfish.
Putting yourself in selfish, yeah. Putting
because I
yourself.
can say
Oh, she's selfish
she's
because she only thinks
selfish.
about
And
herself.
she only
because
does
whatever.
this and that. And
Because
it is self-love.
and do it all. They do it all. They
Self-love
do it all
is
the
what you
time.
need in order to combat all this other
That's
stuff
going
that you're
around
going to be
you.
walking out into.
And when you say no, it's almost like, why should tell me no? Because I've learned to tell you no. If I don't want to do it, I will tell you no.
And I don't have to explain myself.
And I don't have to explain myself.
Right.
But when I do it, people say, oh,
They got an
she ain't
attitude.
good
They got an
at herself or
attitude.
something. But it may be just that I just can't do it then. It's not that I won't do it later. But, like, for instance, when you asked me the first time you wanted me to be on your podcast, right?
Right.
And I said, what did I say? I said, no, not right now.
And I knew she wasn't
But
ready.
it wasn't because I wanted to say no to her, but because of fear. You know,
Right,
so sometimes people say certain things because they're nervous of it. So my no wasn't because I didn't want to be on her show.
Right.
My no was my issue because I was afraid and my fear. But a lot of people take your no as ugh.
Right.
You
And
know?
then,
and that
God
happens a
forbid,
lot.
she would have taken your no in that negative space.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, y'all not friends.
Right.
You don't even know why.
But you know what's funny to me? When she said no, I perceive it as, I said, she's not ready. So I thought that, and I said, that's
fine
okay.
in your circle.
Right. And I said, that's fine. I said, when she's ready, she's going to reach out to me, and we
You know
did
what?
it.
I want you to own what that's about. Because what kind of a grand space are you in when you didn't gravitate to the crazy?
Right.
Because I mean, I say most, but a lot of people I run into, maybe on this mountain, okay, they gravitate to the crazy.
Right.
Quickly.
Selfish.
For no
Right.
reason, because this is not what I'm talking about.
Right.
So how
That's a
did you
whole
know?
other topic this
I
morning.
know.
I need the Winnie Williams. I'm going to get my Wendy
Wendy
Williams hat for the Poconos. I promise you, I'm going to bring it here.
So let me just, I want to touch on that for you. So what happens is, being up here in the mountain is different, right? So a lot of times people leave the city for all kinds of reasons. Right? And in the process of leaving the city, they think that their problems and things and people and places and the stuff that was going on in the city, when they leave,
It's all go away.
it's there. I moved, it's no longer here. But they never realize that they are the common denominator in it.
Yes.
So you have a lot of broken people with a lot of issues that move up here and hide in the mountains.
Yes.
And then when they start,
And now we all up in here.
and then when
Right.
you actually come out and you see people, the same energy is with you.
Right.
So because it didn't go nowhere,
No.
you forgot you was the common denominator. That's a part of that. And you're the common denominator.
Right.
So it's like when you have a bad relationship, one after the other. What is the common denominator in it?
Ladies, I know we talking about body shaming, but thank you, Sherry. In the last 5 relationships, I don't know, they could break up. Don't mean, and that's breaking up is not always a bad thing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
When you hate all 5, every last one of them did this. There's something that is just so hateful. I just want to let you know. Read a good book. Find some positive word affirmation
absolutely,
and
right.
help you for number 6. And choose something so differently than you've been doing the 5 times before.
But I
and
gotta
get it with
piggyback.
Lady K and Sherry, because they got some good energy and positivity. They gonna bring you over the hump.
Lady Wisdom.
Lady Wisdom, they gonna bring you over the hump. And Mama C, I might help you a little bit, but then might hit you in the throat because you're gonna get it from another. After a while, you're gonna get on my nerve. I can't do no 5 bad relationships. We got some beautiful people.
Yeah, and she'll quickly tell you, I'm bothered.
I'm unbothered.
You know, real quick, I'm bothered.
But you know what? The fact that you're able to do that. That's how many people are bothered, don't say nothing, and then it overflows into an explosion.
Right. That is so true. But just to piggyback to what you were saying, I had to accept on that. If a person's always saying it's always the other person, they're not ready yet to accept what they bring. They're not ready yet. Because me personally, I had to go through that. So now I always examine myself. Well, what did you do, Lady K? What did you bring to the table? Why is this scenario like that? What could have been different? That's me. But I'm thank God I'm finally at that age where it's like you said, people that's way older than me, and they still in, oh, it's that person. I'm like, really? You still ain't grow up? When you gonna grow up?
Because sometimes people don't want to face the man in the mirror.
Right.
and it's a hard. But the thing is,
It's hard.
it is hard. But it's what you every single day, you have to, and the mole on your face is a beautiful. I remember my mom having like this mole here,
A little black mole.
right here in the center, and I was like, "Mommy, what's that?" And she said, "It's a beauty mark." I was searching my whole body for
You wanted
one of
one.
those marks.
You want the one that was right here, because
Right,
you
right.
had that. You was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was the.
My
You
grandma
had, if
had
you had
that.
the little mark right here, you were beautiful. And when I remember when I was younger, if you had that, we thought you was gorgeous.
Yeah,
Right.
so
You know?
and so when little dots come, because I've had some beauty marks as time has progressed, and I'm very fortunate to call them beauty. So thank you, Mama, for that one.
Absolutely.
It sounds a little off.
It's how you see it, because my cousin had one and she hated it so bad that she had to remove.
Wow.
Yes.
But I said, again, it depends on how it's. So it was presented to you as a beauty mark,
Yeah.
Right. See?
and it may have been just presented to her as a mole.
Right.
When you think of a mole, it's not as attractive.
It's not
Like,
sexy at all. It doesn't sound sexy. Let me say that.
it's one of the reasons why I don't actually go to Subway, right? So Subway is kind of transparent to you, right? They got their food out, laid out for you to make your sandwiches, right? But it's not what they have, it's how they doing it.
Right.
You ever look at how they just flipping the meat and
Right.
throwing it and
Maybe
taking
not
the
that.
cheese and
And then lettuce.
then it's ill.
Right.
Yeah.
It's how it's presented to you.
yeah.
Presentation is everything.
Presentation,
Presentation
it makes a
is
difference. Eye
everything.
appeal is what it is, right?
Yes.
I always think of that, and every time I think of that, I always think of when Cliff, when on the Cosby Show,
Cosby Show. Yes,
when
I know
the third daughter brought the fiance home, and Cliff had asked him about his steak. He said, "You like a good steak?"
Yes,
He
I
says,
remember.
"Yeah, I like a good steak." He said, "With some mushrooms and some onions and sauteed up good and cook it and." Yeah, and how about something else or something? He said, I think he added the potatoes. He said, "Sounds good, doesn't it?" He said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Now imagine it being presented to you on a garbage can top,
Oh no.
Wow.
and it's not what it was how it was presented,
Right.
and that is what's going on with body shaming." Because they would have you believe that Lizzo is one of the worst. She's
Yes.
fat. She's disgusting.
Right.
Why would she show this and show that?
Right.
Because she's confident in who she is. Don't take away my confidence.
Right.
Because now, what have you profited for it? You don't profit from my confidence getting lost.
Right.
Right, that.
You know, like, why try to hurt me?
Don't take away my confidence.
So in the process of it, think about it. Lizzo is one of the most confident. She gets on there with her bathing suits and her bottom. She wears a bikini. Yes, she's a plus size woman, but she knows who she is.
Right.
So what we must do as parents, aunties, cousins, sisters, brothers, y'all gotta know it too.
Right.
For our sons and our daughters, is we have to present them with their worth.
Yes.
We have to help them with that. A lot of times women don't realize the men in their lives bring about their self-esteem and help
Yes.
with that. But we as women that don't have men in our lives, we have to say, okay, I can't teach them how to be a man. I can't teach my son how to be a man, but I can teach him how to treat a lady.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So the way you always, they try to shame these men that actually go out their way for the other parent, that they no longer together. Oh, it's so weird. Why is it weird? Why is it weird? You need to teach your son how to treat your daughters,
That's right.
right? Your son has got to go out there and treat somebody else's daughter a certain way. Your daughter has to know how to treat her brothers, because she's going to go out there and treat a male, somebody else's son, that same way. Sometimes we overmother, sometimes we underfather, sometimes we overfather, and we don't have the same respect and so forth that we should have. So where we got lost, where we had become, I'm a part of Generation X.
Me too.
Right? So, so Generation X, you have Generation Y behind us.
Right.
Generation Y are now creating babies and raising families. What happened to Generation X when the baby boomers wasn't giving us what we needed? We either had to learn to research it,
Right.
learn how to love ourselves from the inside, figure out how to heal from all the brokenness that we grew up around.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I had my father, God rest his soul.
She hitting the nerve.
My parents were raised.
Lady Wisdom.
They were, I would call they baby boomers or were baby boomers,
Right.
and the generation before them, which would be my grandparents' generation, was the quiet generation. Secrets. They kept secrets.
Yes.
So then, our parents got into that love, the generation of love, right? And unfortunately, our generation kind of like got lost.
We
Right?
definitely got lost because a lot of even fighting for each other. There was that piece where the respect that a man had for a woman
Right.
changed so drastically.
Yes.
Right in our little pocket. Where, and then we went on, and then the other piece was that us starting to work, where we started doing financially more things, then the man is starting to feel, you really don't need me, and they start doing this whole other piece.
Well, that's like taking in Claudine, right?
Yes.
Remember the movie Claudine?
Yes.
They wanted you to believe, and this is the thing that it's a touchy subject for me, because they wanted the male to believe that he was being replaced, that women chose
The workplace.
the money over them, but she was choosing to take care of the children
Right.
that she couldn't afford to do on her own.
Ooh, hitting it big.
So because
Wait a minute.
well,
we talked some
they
good
was
stuff.
just trying to really get that.
I
They
want
was really
people
trying to
know,
hold that.
please call in. Any
You know?
questions at 3 o'clock? 888-304-4401, genesisradio.com.
3
Again,
o'clock.
888-304-4401. But 100% ownership in reference. And again, I think without that foundation of family, parental respect, it doesn't necessarily mean the parents have to stay together all the time.
Absolutely not.
But a mutual parental respect will then allow a young child to see daddy's respecting mommy, mommy's respecting daddy. That means anybody that I allow in my circle got to respect me.
So my question is, how do we get it back? Because we need to bring it back. So we keep talking and we're talking and we're talking about it, and we know it.
Right.
We know it and we know how to, but how do we bring it back for everybody? How do we do it?
Well, we got to be the ones that we started here. This is when we break the cycle.
Yeah.
Right. This is
We have to decide to break that cycle. We decide we're not going to be on that ride anymore. We don't want to do that.
I don't wanna do
I felt like I had a void here, and I was lacking. And in my lacking, I don't ever want somebody else to feel that, because that's where certain mistakes and choices came in that shouldn't have been. But no one told me that there was a way to break the cycle. Right? So now I know there's a way to break the cycle. So do I realize that you and I are from two different places? I do. Do I realize that we were raised differently? I do. So what I won't do is badmouth you.
That's the thing.
Right.
I won't do
That's
that
the thing.
because you didn't ask to be here. This is what I told they didn't ask to be here. When I went through my separation and then divorce, my kids didn't ask to be here. So bad-mouthing their father wasn't my goal.
Right.
He was my choice.
Ooh.
Right? So I chose him. And in the fact that I chose him, they don't deal with my consequence of it. Unfortunately, a miserable household with two adults in it
That's hard.
is worse
It's worse
than two households where you got two happy people
Right. Healthy.
in there, and we lose that because we were taught about the cohesive of the two adults. Forget the adults. We teach our children how to become the adults they become.
right.
I know some people right now who are living together with children just because of the kids.
Just for the children.
And I'm like, you're destroying the kids, and refuse to see that staying together just because of those kids are destroying them.
And how many of those kids are walking away wounded? And they walk in the earth that way. How many of us are walking wounded? How many of us are hurt and we accept the hurt that we receive? The body shaming, the talk about I don't like your size, I don't like your hair, oh, your nose, your lips,
We gotta
your
stop.
eyes, your feet are too big, your butt's
on
too
your
big.
pinky toe is coming through your shoe.
Ooh, that's nasty.
And what about your man hands? You know, you hear about these things. You hear about these things.
I got old hands. I'm a body shame myself.
See, she got
But you do. But again, that's about you doing that to you. But the difference is the difference is teaching us. That thing is so true about those affirmations.
Yes.
Right.
We have to learn to tell ourselves, I'm beautiful, I'm smart,
Absolutely.
I'm intelligent, I'm important, I validate me, I hear me. You know how many people are the way they are because they're not heard?
Right.
And I'll say, for me, I remember, again, going back to my legs, someone saying to me, and this is where the shift came. See, sometimes if you share your information around the right person, something will be said.
And it'll click.
And it'll click. So it's like, okay, and I'm like, oh, my legs, da-da-da. Well, what would you feel like if you didn't have legs?
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. So, let me just keep that's garbage.
Appreciate it.
Start to appreciate
Right.
the things that you tend to, like, again, I always say, oh, my hands are old. But I did hair for almost 30 years with these hands.
Yes.
This paid for every college degree, every real estate degree, license, whatever, every home I've ever owned, my wedding, vacations, the cars, my parents' stuff.
That's why we had that strong hand opening last week, okay? Which was fabulous. So last week we did not even have a show because all of us was on that very road, real estate. You know, we were all our support. That's what we do at the sistership. So anybody who has a business, part of our network is we support each other. So if somebody else has something going on, we're there. It either needs to be one or two of us or all of us at that network event for that person. So it's not just about us, it's about the entire team. So when you look at our website, you see a bunch of women who have their own businesses.
That's right.
Okay? However, we are working on our own businesses, but we're also supporting each other. And then if you give us a call, we have Sharice, we have Daisy, we have Mika, who is starting her own business, and we're helping her to create her business, and she's also doing other things. We have, you have to go to the website to see it all, because I can go on and on. But what we do...
And Wednesday, please talk about the show that we're going to be doing on Wednesday.
What's Wednesday?
Is it this week?
Is it this Wednesday?
It's this Wednesday with Vera Moore.
With Vera Moore, we need to continue and talk about that one towards the end, because I know 3 o'clock people are on the call. So we'll give that at the end of the show, the midday tea with Sharice and Daisy.
And if you don't know about who she is, she, again, was one of the first brown women on soap operas, on a soap opera. She had her own makeup line. She had it in malls. She used to teach entrepreneurship through, and do workshops in her home, because that's how I met her, and I had told you about that. So check her out. Really, really support this Wednesday show, because you're going to learn so much. And again, it's those type of individuals that you'll see that will allow you to then stop looking at yourself in a negative way, because we all have started somewhere or been somewhere and had to go through something to get to the next phase, the next level, wherever we're going. So I'm just, I just want, please, if you guys on Wednesday at noon,
from 11 to 12.
It's 11 to 12?
Yeah, 11 to 12, the midday tea on Zoom. That one is on Facebook. So we'll be talking more about that towards the end as well. Yep.
But we want to talk about, too, words having power.
Right.
Some of the things you might think is acceptable conversation but it really isn't. You would be a knockout if you lost weight.
Wow.
You know, you
But it's not true because some have lost weight and still feel uncomfortable about what they're doing. So
Right.
because
But
they
then
think
some
they've
people-
lost the weight and then
and then it's doing
it's
something
the
different.
same thing.
Right.
You need to eat and put some meat on them bones. My father always used to say,
Yeah.
only a dog want a bone. He, like, when I get, so I had two opposite with parents.
Right.
One is like, you got to be as thin as thin as thin as thin. The other one is like, no, you know, you want to,
Some meat on your
some
bone.
meat
you
on
want.
your bones.
So either way, however I walked in the room, I didn't show up correctly. And I kept having to, oh, please.
But that's deep. Because you imagine being 5 and doing that
Yeah.
happening to you.
Right.
How do you process that?
There is no way that's going to fit you.
You know, that's
You
why
got such a beautiful face.
Right. That's so much better. You know, change your words around.
Are you really going to eat all that? So
you got to be mindful of your words.
You got to be mindful of your words, and those who are hearing those words. So now let me flip that.
And the
Those who
receiver.
are hearing those words, be mindful of that company that you are keeping.
Right.
So for those of you Christians or other faith, the Bible teaches us that the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Right.
It also teaches us that we have to be conscious of the words that come out of our mouth because we impart on the listeners.
Right. And
And it's
right.
very powerful. It makes a whole difference.
Right.
They may misinterpret. Your interpretation may be totally different than what theirs is.
Right.
So we have to be mindful of what we're saying and how we're saying it to people. But also, everybody is not going to receive at the same time
Right.
or from the same people.
Right.
And I want us to also understand that words sometimes can pursue an unrealistic expectation that we'll have about ourselves. So again, being mindful, being truly mindful of that. But a wonderful woman also we just lost, and Justice RBG. So another person out there who was doing amazing work to pursue a sistership. One of her last moments with past President Obama was making sure equal pay for women. Okay, so again, there are, you know, again, if you're trying to figure out how to go about bettering yourself and working on yourself, and as Sherry said, looking at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, and sometimes you don't know exactly how to do that. There are such amazing books. There's such amazing people out there. Search for the things that are as least superficial as possible. If you are not feeling great about yourself, probably don't watch The Housewives of anything.
That's right.
Don't watch real love and any kind of hip hop or any sort.
Turn it
Get
off.
off of Instagram.
Right.
Yes.
Because
Turn
again,
it off.
it's filled with things that will question everything that you think, and that's such a small portion of life.
That's right. They call it reality TV, and it's
So
it is delusional TV.
And a lot of our kids
Right, think
don't
about it.
understand that.
Well, they don't understand it because a lot of us, a lot of the kids are not watching it. They hear it because we're watching it. Right? I mean, what housewife is walking around in 6-inch heels and a skin on of a great dress and getting the chores and stuff taken care of?
Right.
And a face full of
How you're
makeup.
supposed to do it?
Come on now.
I have to say that I'm the opposite because I don't watch TV.
Well, not,
But
but
a rarity that you'll catch me watching TV. There's a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you saw something?" I'm like, "I couldn't even tell you." You think I watch the TV, but I don't.
I'm
so
the same
every
way.
now and then, you know, people are having conversations, and I can't jump in because I don't know what happened on that TV show.
Right.
And recently, I started watching the news, so certain things I'm like, "Oh man, really?" I had to because the news was giving me anxiety.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
the news
freaking out.
The news is insane. And Sean Bailey, I swear to God, I'm always, I hear, it is on all the time. It is on all the time. And
Well, the news has a lot of stuff in it, right? It has comedy. We got a clown. That's always on TV.
I can't do him. I can't do it
Right?
anymore.
So you have jokes that's come out of some of the commentators' mouths. I mean, so you got a lot of drama. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality that we have to face. We have to be mindful of what goes in, right? So
Absolutely, right.
our eye gates, our ear gates, and our hearts, just like you said, children could be sitting, they could be playing, and seem as if they're not paying no mind, and later they'll ask you, well, what was that? What's an orgasm? Right, because you're on the phone with your girlfriend having a conversation that the child shouldn't have even been in the same vicinity.
Right.
But they're hearing you, and that's where the big head jokes come in, and the 4 eyes and all of that. That's where body shaming starts.
Yes.
Conversations around kids.
And
But
also,
that's allowed right now. So
It's-
how do we get back to that? Because there's a lot of parents that,
I don't do that because that one in there, he got ears, eyes. He would tell also. I gotta go in my room and close the door and be like, "Can y'all hear me?" Because he will repeat everything I say. So I gotta protect his ear gates and eye gates as well too because they absorb so much.
But as a parent of parents now, I'm always reminding my daughters, because they're the parents,
Right.
that your children are sponges, but they're also parrots.
Right.
So you be the change. You know, like you always talk about change narrative. That's where you're breaking the cycle.
that's how you,
Right.
and that's
That's
what
how you
you've
break
done
the
it,
cycle.
because thinking about,
That's
you know,
how you break
all
the
of
cycle.
the, especially again going back to body shaming, which if you embrace it, now you have mental health issues, because that's what it is. It goes right to the mind and how you perceive everything.
yes.
How do we break it? Thinking about being healthy, whatever that looks like.
And recognizing what cycle you need to break.
So if you're the mother, if you're in the household and you're dictating what comes into the household, now you're bringing healthier choices into the household.
Right.
Okay, it's going to help that whomever. So for someone who's thin, you say, okay, and they're, well, mommy, I really want to work on getting fuller. That you don't eat milkshakes every day to get fuller.
Right.
Let's go in the gym and exercise. Let's build up some muscle tone.
learn how
But
to
your
eat.
frame is your frame.
Right.
And if you're a full woman and you're like, I want to, work on whatever, again, muscle tone. Okay, well, let's eat this way. Let's change certain things that we know aren't good. Doesn't mean don't eat any bread, but maybe we're not eating Wonder Bread.
Right.
And we start so that we're
And the
creating
portions.
healthy people. Not necessarily, speaking of one, that's the baby, not talking about, this and that, what have you. Just want to build it.
Right.
Build your foundation, build your temple, think of it as a temple. So then, okay, we're working on the physicality. Now we're going to work on how we eat. We're going to work on our palate, getting that sugar taste out.
Right.
Embracing natural foods. Okay, now you can't do all of this and still deal with craziness, because then eventually you start to shift in a way where I gotta burn some incense and some sage now. And I gotta read
I did a
this.
whole lot of burning of sage and incense, but we ain't gonna
But
go there.
but it just changes, because when you eat something that's not good for you, when you've been doing so good,
Right.
it all of a sudden
Exactly. Your body responds differently.
if you don't, like you said, it's a habit. You have to create habits. So when you've been going to the gym or
the habit.
doing that 15-minute to 20-minute to 30-minute walk every day, and 2 or 3 days go by and you don't do it, and you're like, why I feel like this?
Right.
Because, I got to get back to my walking.
And what is it? It takes 30 days.
30 days to break a habit.
Right.
But then you still have to do the consistency
Right,
of it.
but-
Otherwise, you have to continue it on. So when I got into the health situation, I've been doing this since, we want to say 2013. And I fell and I got up and I fell and I got up and I fell and I got up and I got up again.
But you stop talking about how many times you fell. Just remind yourself how many times you got up.
But sometimes I talk about that so that people can realize that we all do the same thing. It's all right.
Right.
But keep going.
It's a
But
journey.
everything,
It's a journey.
again, everything is not for everybody.
Right.
Right? So you have some parents that talk about the weight that their child is gaining, but the kid don't bring the groceries in, right?
Oh, Jesus. I need to get up on that one. I know what you're getting ready to say, but okay.
So then you have the ones that talk about, well, you too skinny. Well, what are you doing to show me something different? There was a young lady, her social media name was Manko Fit. This young woman was so upset with being small because she was teased so bad. She felt like they couldn't love her. She is one of the most recognized. Somebody said to her, let's do something different. They took her into the gym and they taught her how to love her body. She works out. She is physically fit. She had, well, it sounds weird, but she had a six-pack while she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Right? Her baby is healthy. She's healthy. She's raising her child. She decided, so just take that one person to come in and change the narrative in her life.
Right.
Instead of knocking her, because she literally wanted to kill herself.
Wow.
But when they came in and they said, let's do something different,
like
give
that.
me some time. Give me some time, and I'll show you how to do this.
Right.
And they did. So the unfortunate part is that we don't realize that when we're body shaming or saying something to somebody, we don't know how deep down it hits the core.
Right.
Right? So
But you know what? When you're saying something crude and rude,
you're not saying it because you're trying to be kind.
Exactly. So when you get that result, and something really happens because you got the result that you might have been pushing, but you didn't know it was going to go that far, that's some heavy guilt. People are dying. People are committing suicide. People are going through a lot of things based on mental health, and mental health based on challenge of someone hurting their feelings based on their physicality. We are all unique. There's nothing on me. I don't have identical twin. There's nothing on me, no matter how much my child may look like me or I may look like my mother or my father. There's things about me that are going to be different. And if you're going to sit there and pick out those things that are different about me that are from you, or vice versa, like you said, light, bright, yeah, I went through that. Oh, you're too thin. Oh, you're too big. Oh, your hair's too nappy. Oh, it's too straight. Oh, your eyes is too big. Oh, your nose is too wide. If you're going to pick on those things when it comes to people, trust me when I tell you, you're going to feel it, and you are harming a generation.
Some kind of form.
You're harming it, and when you had mentioned another thing too, again, body shaming and taking it to another space, being pregnant, and what your body goes through.
Right.
Okay, no one needs to tell anybody anything for a woman that's had a pregnancy. Your body goes through so many things, and I'm going to say this: the highest, and this is so horrible. Most infidelity happens during a pregnancy.
Yep.
And a lot of women are out here dealing with that because their bodies got bigger, their mate is like not attracted to them. Just wait the 42 weeks for me, but wait the time. But no, they're out there doing a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right.
You know, and your body changes. And I mean, for me, I remember because I had preeclampsia. Okay, I was like, whew.
I experienced
That's
that.
high risk.
I gained 100 pounds in a month.
Yes.
Wow.
In 1 month.
I gave birth. When I gave birth, I was, after giving birth, so mad. They had the scale right outside my room. Why they do that?
Oh my God.
I was 196 pounds after giving birth. I'd never seen myself over 120.
Wow.
You know, up until that point. I got married at 116 pounds. I was 196 after giving birth.
I had for a C-section, so.
Wow.
I actually had a C-section because of the preeclampsia.
That ain't a joke.
I gained 100 pounds, and for those people that don't know what it is, it's toxic in your, it's toxicity in your blood,
Right.
and so it could actually take your life.
My pressure was 200 over 120.
Wow.
But they don't. But that's a part of when you body shaming somebody. You don't necessarily know the backstory on why they might be plus size or why they may be extra skinny,
Right.
or
Thyroid.
People don't think about, like I said, thyroids.
or the different things that might be going on with your body and your health. You may not have no control over it. It's like you try to teach your children, don't look at the children that may have cerebral palsy or have some form of special needs.
Right.
You try to teach them not to tease them. But then you have those that have special needs and don't know they have special needs. And those are the ones that be out there body shaming
the next
and
person,
talking about somebody else. You know, it's life
people
every
hurt
day.
people. Hurt people, hurt people.
That's true.
We can keep talking here, but we'd like for some listeners to also call in. So you can call in at this time at 1-888-304-4401. We're
We
going to
having a
continue
good
to
time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. Y'all get
Because I can continue to talk. Yeah.
You know what's the worst though? Because I know we're talking about pregnancy. Imagine going to a woman and say, "Oh, how long are you?"
And you're
I'm
not
like,
pregnant.
And they're not pregnant. I'm like, I seen that
I've
happen a lot.
experienced that.
I would
That
like,
A lot of times. Sometimes, if you don't have nothing to say,
don't
Don't
say it at
say
all.
nothing at all.
That's
Oh,
not
yeah, that's
and
I know
also,
her, yes.
that hurts people.
we also do body shaming, and we pick men based off of what they look like.
Right.
Sometimes
The physical.
or the physical,
Right.
right? So what we need to do is maybe you will catch or get the right person if you start looking at the physical portion of that person and realize that, okay, maybe this person is for me.
Well, you already know the package has to be appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't see what's right in front of them, right?
Exactly. So
Because
body
they're so used
shaming,
to what they're used to.
And well, how has that worked out for
For
them?
you.
And how has that worked out?
How answer? Let's press answer.
No, no. Just the speaker.
the sistership.
Hey, this is Mama C calling in. Hey, and I'm trying to mute this so that I can talk, but I'm going to have to go another route. There we go. Hey, this is such an important conversation, and the kind of conversations we have to keep having. But I think it's also very important to recognize that, the individual work that we each need to do can't be done by each other.
That's right.
And even though we provide the tips, quips, and, affirmations and information that they need, people have to start taking responsibility for cleansing and pulling the roots out of the garden of their souls that's slowly choking the life out of them. And in their struggle to save themselves without understanding how to, they try and throw off their garbage on the other people, but you can't cleanse yourself by throwing your garbage at other people. You have to go inward, and you have to deal with the self. And see, that's the hardest part for most people. They don't want to deal with the self, because standing in front of that mirror and asking God to show you who you really are and to help you to become that incredible being you were created and born into the world to be, that's a difficult process. And unless you're willing to dig deep into your soul and clear out all of the garbage, you know what? Nothing's going to change for those people. So for those of us who do the work, and who share the information on what needs to be done, I say to all of us, we just have to keep moving, keep grooving, keep growing as best we can, because we can't change other people, but we can consistently change ourselves for the better and hope that other people will see the light and start walking toward it.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
That's
Thank you, Mama
the
C.
change. That's exactly what we're talking about. Thank you so much. You always bring in love, light, and peace, and with a little bit of spice.
That's that.
I won't say a little bit. I'm gonna say a whole lot of caliente.
We have a Queen Angel Wisdom takeover soon.
So you guys keep going and keep talking. Hopefully it'll impact on somebody, because if we only reach one person per show, we have met our quota.
Absolutely.
Speaking
All
of,
right, carry on, ladies.
thank you, Mama C.
Thank you.
Glenda,
You're welcome. Bye.
bye-bye. Glenda Woodard, thank you so much for watching us in the sistership. I see her watching on the live. So thank you so much. We have a few people up there, but I wanted to give her a special shout out.
But Tiffany, you said something that was so powerful. You were talking about men, right? And it was in my thought earlier, but I didn't get a chance to get it out. There are some men who are not feeling confident within their bodies. I actually know some men who got hips and they have, behinds, so they wear loose fitting stuff, so that won't show. Because I dated someone like that. He was so insecure about his body, and I'm like, but I love your body. And he was like, I don't like it because people always call me bubble butt, and he never wanted his butt exposed.
But men don't talk about it the way
They don't.
They don't, and
They don't talk about it with us doesn't mean they don't talk about it.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, they you know what? Some guys. So we're not going to categorize everybody in the same one. I don't. That bothers me, so I won't do that.
Right.
Some men can actually get together and have grown-up conversation.
Right.
Some men can mentor and teach the younger brothers around them. Then you have some of these old heads that are just trash. And they'd rather keep that going around them than try to keep anything positive going around them.
Right.
So are there men that talk about it? They do. They just talk about it different than we do.
Right.
The brothers get in the gym. It's like, yo, man, you want to come with me to the gym?
Right.
So that's their way of saying, I think you need some help, but we're gonna work it out together in the gym.
Right.
Doesn't mean they don't talk about it. They just don't do it like women do.
That's true.
So do you have some that are ashamed? I'm sure. I'm sure there's many of them, but they deal with it different than we do.
but women, because of who we are,
Emotional creatures.
we take on that man with whatever that challenge is. And the gym, if it's going to the gym, I know a man who did go to the gym, and he had one of the surgeries, and he's lost a lot of weight, like mega weight, and he has the skin.
The excess skin is right now bothering
And
him.
his woman is like, whatever. She's not making him feel any way about his skin, and any way about when he was thicker or when he had lost weight or whatever. She's just very supportive of his
She's
movement.
probably thanking God that he's still here with her.
Right. But men, sometimes our men, that's what I said,
The
women,
egos get there.
when most infidelity happens during pregnancy because of how our bodies change. So again, choosing people, what is the growth that has to take place in order for that balance of love to happen?
That's huge.
And that's part of where we have to, as mothers, I don't have a male child, but I do have male people around me, and I had male children grow up around me where I tried to do as much as I can as far as just being a proper role model to them. But fathers need to do these things with their boys. Mothers need to allow their boys to become men and to be able to honor and want to embrace everything about a woman, everything about us, so that we're not feeling that way. Because a lot of that happens because of how a man looks at us. A lot of that, the pluses and the minuses. If a guy, oh, that booty looking good. Now my booty look good because he says so.
Right.
You need to know that already.
Right.
Or my booty don't look good because he says so. Giving so much power to someone else's thoughts. So I'm saying part of that change, we need to really, we as women are here every Sunday. Men, I think I really would love for men to really start being a population that's watching these type of shows and these type of meetings that are happening, because we need you to be on our side.
We have to be mindful of what's on social media, on television, and stuff like that, because a lot of it looks at and shows women, black women, as bitter, angry, men bashers. So they may not listen in for that reason. Oh, they're just gonna bash a bunch of men. Oh, they just a bunch of angry, bitter black women.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's gonna take women to ask their man to sit down with them and listen. So the men that have daughters have to know how important it is that they learn how to help their daughters when they're around their daughters. Because doesn't mean that because she has a mom that the mom is perfect and she knows everything. No.
Not perfect.
I mean, your mate could have some kind of insecurity, and it projects out. But as a father, there's things that only a father can give to his daughter,
Right.
and only a mother can give to her son.
I agree.
I'm not asking anybody to handicap your children. Some moms, y'all need to back up. Those are your sons, not your man, your husband.
Hello.
And you need to mind your business when he's in a relationship. Stop trying to tell him how to treat her,
I agree.
and let him see how you're treated. Apparently, you didn't give him the example that he may have needed, or he lost respect for you somewhere. Be conscious of that. Ladies, if you're out there and you're single, be conscious of the brothers that you bring in and into your in and out of your life.
In and out of your yoni.
And if they don't
Your
have
daughters will see
a
you.
pillow for you,
Your daughters will see you and think it's normal. Your son will lose respect for you.
Absolutely.
And if he has no respect for his mother, ladies, he won't have any respect for you.
And I'm going to say,
a big red
too,
flag.
Sean, when we were dating, this was
Many moons ago.
when, you know, we did have, the cell phone existed
like 28
then.
years? Because I know
Yeah,
you said it
yeah.
during the grand opening. 28
And,
years?
yep.
Okay.
Cell phones existed for doctors.
Doctors.
And lawyers. And
When-
gun dealers.
And hairdressers.
Give me a beeper.
If any girl would call his house, once I was introduced into
To mom?
the family, she would say, "You know Tiffany?"
That's right.
That's right.
No, and I'm sitting with
No, that makes a major
I like
difference.
a mama like that.
It's real talk
you know
because
Tiffany.
you're not gonna. If I had a male child, you not my front door is not a revolving door
Right.
for whatever you got going on.
Going on. Right.
My phone's not, you know, now everybody got their own phone, but my phone, if we all got the phone ring throughout the whole house, it can't ring 20 times because you're trying to do 20 different people.
Right.
You know, I'm not doing that. And you don't have a household where you see your mother or your father doing this.
Right.
So this isn't who you are, and we're not tolerating
But
that.
do you remember that? The reason that she was able to actually screen the calls was because we had house phones.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody is handing off these cell phones to these babies. The babies don't need cell
No
phones.
phones. They don't need no phones.
You should know where your child is at all times.
Absolutely.
You know, my kids just got cell phones because they're older now and they need to. But for a long time, they would ask me, and I'm like, I'm not paying no bill. And for a long time, my oldest daughter had a cell phone, but guess why she had that cell phone? Because she paid her own bill. I refused to pay a bill for a child who wants a phone at that particular age.
Right.
So if you want it, then you have to be able to pay for
Take
that
care.
phone.
We have to be, well, I mean, we mindful.
And then everybody's situation is different too.
Right, I was going to say, we have to be mindful of the differences in situations.
Right.
My children were athletes. I had 3 kids, 3 different levels of sports, doing the same sport, but 3 different levels.
in different places.
In different places. So they needed to know how to get in touch with me.
Right.
We also got to remember that after 9/11, it was probably one of the toughest times
Yeah.
for your kid not to have it. But it should not be the only form of communication.
Absolutely.
And you should still be screening and parent blocking. I think they got them parental.
Right.
So let me be clear, my children are not babies. So I'm not always remembering the names of things, but you should have parental locking and blocking somehow.
And don't be texting me and you're in the same house.
Come downstairs.
Come downstairs. Okay?
Yeah, we have to, but again, that's about us teaching them.
Right, that's that.
We have to teach them how impersonal stuff like that
I
is.
tell you, I learned a lesson from that with my older child because most of the time our communication was through
The phone.
the texting. So we had a conversation because she said, you know, I always come out her hard and wrong. But I realized that she's always texting me. So sometimes her texts would come out and I'm like, who you think you talking to?
And then you come right.
Oh, so I'm giving it to her, socking it to her, like what? And I would call and knock her out the box because I'm like, who the hell? This what?
Right.
You know, and I had to realize, and we had a conversation that, okay, Tia,
You know
no more
what?
texting me. Don't text me anymore.
Right, have conversation.
Because this is why you're feeling like this because your text. And I just said, read your text. Your text was like, boop, 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 boop. And I was like, I ain't your friend.
Right.
So I call her like, heifer.
That's body shaming. You making her like she's a little looking like a four-legged something. I don't know.
Wait. You know we keep it real. We keep it real. Okay? So no. We old school, okay? When our kids do something, we
Let me tell you something. I was called everything but a child of God. But I have to say, I had to wear these sunglasses today because Tiffany Bling's nails. It's just, I'm like, every time, if I had these...
I went to the store today, somebody was like, oh, that's okay, that's what that is.
That's what that is. They be popping. Oh, my gosh. Well, again, I'm really, we're getting closer. Oh, yes, we have 10 more minutes, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, again, anyone that wants to call in, 888-304-4401. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think we can talk... You can talk this until you cannot never stop. Mm-hmm. You know, when you were sharing about the body shaming and you were sharing about how the hair and what is that? What is hair brought to? I mean,
that's a big giant topic that we don't want to touch right now.
That's a whole show. But again, that's part of it.
Absolutely.
You know, you have these babies out here who, you know, because I'm all about now, you know, no, let's not do the relaxes. Let's just do, you know, and I made a boatload of money with some robots. Let me just be very clear. Very clear. So I'm, you know, don't text later. Oh, well, you used to do that? Yeah, I did. And I'm telling you, I get it.
Right.
Now moving forward, and I would also say this too, my clients who did get relaxes, they did come to me on a regular basis. So we were managing that hair.
Right.
And
taking care of that hair. A lot of y'all kitchen beauticians, y'all know what's happening. But when you have a child out there and their hair is doing something, especially again on this mountain, because... You know, in South Jamaica, Queens, it's a lot different.
Right.
South Jamaica, Queens, wearing your fro, wearing your locks, doing certain things, a different situation than being in these classrooms.
Tiff, like I said,
NYC is so different from this.
Williams hat for this mountain, but we ain't gonna go there. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna I'm gonna pray.
We're gonna pray on it. We're gonna pray on it. And you know what the bottom line is? You must be doing something right, girl.
I guess so, but that's why we created the sistership, because we were tired of the same thing on TV. You know, watching the love and hip hop. Maybe we can bring something different. You know, that people can say, okay, well, yeah, they're trying to do something different over there.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Let's bring it back home to what it was supposed to be. Because what they're doing right now, I don't know what that is.
They're not glowing and growing. They're not on the sistership at all. Not only are they not on a sistership, they're on a ship of hate. Like, let's just all be mad at each other. You know, you have, and I watch these shows, because I do.
Somebody need to watch it so that we can know what's
going on. And you look at them,
cable,
and you look at the women on the show, and it's all starting to morph into one look. But you're all mad at each other. So is this stuff that you're putting in your body, the stuff that you're putting in your mind, messing you up so badly that you can't even, because then you're saying, okay, I'm going to pick you apart because you look different than me. They all look alike.
But it's scripted, and that's what a lot of people don't realize.
Plastic.
Reality TV is scripted TV. They're told what to wear. They're told what to say. If you notice that every one of them, whenever they having a phone conversation, it's never personal.
Right.
It's always on speaker.
Right.
Nothing about what they're doing. Nothing about what they're doing is to protect their privacy. It is to put everything out there, and then misconstrue conversation or the understanding of it is you interpreting what I said because you heard it because it was on speaker.
Right.
I don't get to keep my personal business mine as a
and they
public.
forget it though.
But
Kylie Jenner recently texted on an IG or something, reached out to her mother on the IG and said, you need to take that picture down. I don't even think she realized she was texting public.
No, she may have, because if it was a public picture of her,
yes,
she was making it public. I didn't give her permission to put it up.
It was a picture of her before.
Either way.
You know what I'm saying?
That's either way.
But why
But
not
now you
put
messing with her brand.
Right.
But now you messing with a brand. Chris Jenner,
Oh, she's
in Real Talk,
She's a beast.
is the PIMP
Right.
of all mothers.
Yes.
She has pimped every one of her daughters
Every
out.
one of them. And her son, too.
Right.
And the problem is, her daughter had every right, now that she has a brand, to tell her mother the same way she publicly put it out there, to publicly know she didn't want it up there, get it off.
Get it off. Right.
So it wasn't misconstrued. Mom can't say, well, you didn't tell me not to. Oh, everybody in the world knows I told you not to.
Right, exactly.
So now they also know that I didn't tell you to put it up either.
But I also,
If you want to know what they look like before, Google it.
you can definitely see the old shows.
Right.
But again, her doing that, is she not liking what she saw?
Well, you know what? If you notice, Chris always takes the light off of her. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because you want to put the spotlight on her daughters.
Because that's where the money is at.
Right, exactly.
Right? But also, it makes
That's
people...
the
behind the scenes.
She's actually...
But it also makes them...
change, though.
It actually... Also, remember, she's all broken up. Her husband became a woman.
Right.
So what kind of mental health issues is she dealing with?
Ooh.
The fact that, you know, like for somebody to say, I think it breaks men down when a woman is no longer interested in him and she goes to another woman, right?
Right.
That would break him down. So, but now you have it the other shoe on the other foot. It's a woman whose husband became a woman.
Right.
What was it about her? She's probably fighting that demon inside of her. What was it about her
And they got nothing to do with her.
that flipped it? It doesn't, but does that mean it didn't touch her?
Right,
Because after
exactly.
all those years and kids,
Right.
she's actually dealing with the issue that, you know, like, what man really wants her? What person looks at her of any character or caliber? She has, I mean, Kim Kardashian needs to just be patting her mommy on the back. Mom, thanks. You put my video out there. I shouldn't have been making the video, but you put it out there, me and Ray J, and now we big people. The money that I'm making off of this.
I know we gotta wrap it up, and before we wrap it up, I just want to say that on Saturdays, I love it. Every Saturday from 12 to 3, we are taking donations. You can come down to the studio, and food donations that we are.
Now,
giving
is
to
it
the-
just food? Are you bringing food? What type of food?
You can bring canned food,
Non-perishable.
non-perishables, anything that children like, I mean, and their families. So ramen noodles, non-perishable food.
Okay.
And you can just drop
tuna
it right
fish.
into the basket. Tuna fish, all of that. And we have a basket here, and we take it over to the PTO, who will then get
Purple
it to the
Pantry.
Purple Pantry, who will then get it into the Purple Pantry, because right now with COVID, it's kind of hard and not everybody can go there. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and help them to continue to support them and make sure that the Purple Pantry stays filled for the families and children in need in the community.
But Tiff, you was doing that before.
We were.
You know, and
Everybody Eats.
and with the everybody eats. This is not new.
But that wasn't my. It was. We were all doing that together.
Together.
Okay.
Together.
And that was. It started with Nikki Singh, and she had brought that information.
Yes.
Out. We even had two other ladies that were doing that with us. We're all no longer a part of us anymore, but we all did that together.
That's right.
And then.
But I'm just saying that to say the philanthropic efforts that you, Mama C, have opened yourself up to.
Right.
You know, you have to be commended for that. You have to be applauded. I just want to say that. I mean, you're making your Saturday from 12 to 3, you're breaking that time to be here for donations. So anyone that can come down to 18 South 9th Street, right down here in Stroudsburg.
And the boot container is right out here. I may not always be here from 12 to 3, but we are open, so it's available. You can just come in and drop the food and the donations right there. We had a huge donation. We're not going to give any names or anybody. You can leave your name and your email, and we'll send you a thank you from the sistership team. But we just, once it's filled, we give it over to the school, and they do what they need to do to make sure that their pantry stays filled. We're also working on book bags for them, because they had some bags that were breaking when they put the food in. So we're working on getting them book bags that the food can go into.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited about what's to come. We have a full, next month, we have some amazing shows coming.
Yes.
We usually share with you our topics on the Friday before, Thursday night, Friday before.
It's usually the Thursday night, Friday before.
So
we're
please-
still playing with that because I think we may not even. We'll
Okay.
figure it out. Yep.
Please tune in. There's some amazing things coming up. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about, if anything you want to share, please inbox one of us, and it might be a great topic. And we will say thank you so much, and we will share and spread that kind of joy, love, and wisdom. This your girl, Tiffany Rowe. I just love you. Every Sunday, see us right here, same bat channel, same bat time. Tiffany Bling.
I'm saying good night, Lady K.
Lady K here. Good night.
Good night.
You did that. Y'all did that. Let me just give y'all. Lady Wisdom, Lady K. Okay? The two tips and the ladies. All right? Blessings to you. This is
The
sistership.
Come with us.
We on the sistership.
And we're looking to see who is going to put that video out.
I gotta learn it all
I'm still
good.
trying to learn the song. I'm still trying to learn the word.